Hello everyone, as you can see it's the middle of May and I wanted to make a video with some general recommendations on buying new GPUs. So new GPUs for the middle of May. First of all, if you want to buy new, you should not buy you should not go anything lower, anything below the RX 6600. If you buy used, you might go for better GPUs in the same price range, but we're talking new cards. So if you're looking for, first of all, if you're looking for the Nvidia 3050, stop doing that. It's a bad value card. It's just not good. Just stop. I will make two Nvidia recommendations, but it's not gonna be at this price point. So cheapest new card that I recommend you guys look into if you only have like a really limited budget is the RX 6600. You can check graphs online. It's like a lot better than the Nvidia 3050. A lot better. Now, there's also the 6600 XT, but it's $50 more. So, you know, it should perform 25%, right? $50 out of 200 is 25%. So 250 is 25% more than 200. The XT should perform 25% better. And if it does, if you check some performance graphs online, then the 6600 XT is also a good card. If you are a bit more advanced user and you can handle the headache, you can also go with Intel, the Arc 750. For some reason it's not found. Okay, it's A750. Okay, so the cheapest one is at $230. And I checked, it is available on Newegg and Best Buy at this price point. But here you might have some headaches. So if you just want to plug and play, just go with AMD, the 6600, non-XT or XT, depending on your budget. Now, moving a bit to the 3060, right? For some reason there's a 1650 here. I got a bit scared because a 3060 at this price point would be really nice, but it's not. It's $320. Again, the 3060. First of all, you need to be very, very careful not to buy the 8 gigabytes model. If you want to buy, if you want to go Nvidia and try some ray tracing, because indeed Nvidia is better in ray tracing than AMD. Probably you can try it at the 1080p, but go with the 12 gigabyte model. That said, I would still not recommend going with the 3060 because you can actually go with a 6700 non-XT, and because it performs so much better at non-ray tracing workload, it's just too hard to go with Nvidia, right? There's also the 3060 Ti, but this is, as you can see, a lot more expensive. It's in the $400 range. And to be honest, if you're not buying the 6700 non-XT new, which is right below $300, anything above $300 I would not buy right now. Why? Well, because new launches are coming up. At the end of May, we're gonna have the 4060 Ti, 8 gigabytes, and in July we're gonna have the 4060 8 gigabytes and the 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes. And I think this this might be a really good card. The 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes might be a really good card. So what I would personally do, I would wait. If I have a budget above $300, I would just wait for July even. And let's say you're in the rare situation that your GPU is broken. I would literally go buy a $50 to $100 used GPU, like a 570 or anything used, right? In the $100 range. Uh, use it until the end of July and wait for all these releases. There's gonna be a release and on the 25th of May, like in 10 days from AMD as well. Uh, then wait for reviews, and then I would pull the trigger. Now the 4060 Ti with 16 gigabytes is a really interesting card. Like this really gets me excited. Now what could put the put an end to my excitement would be a very high price, right? Because the 4070 was released at $600, so this one might be 500. 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte version could be $500. 4060 Ti 8 gigs could be $450. This one could be $400. And depending on the performance, they might not be a good value proposition. But again, I would just wait. It's just 2 months, right? 2 months and 2 weeks at most, and we're gonna have all of these releases, and you're gonna be able to make a much better decision, right? That's what I would do. If your GPU is literally broken, it's not working, you cannot play games, go on the used market and buy a really cheap one. Then in July, you can buy any of these, which one suits you better. I'm excited on the 16 gigabyte version, and then you can resell your used GPUs. Let's say you buy it on $100, sell it on 80. You only lose $20, right? To continue gaming for 2 more months. I don't think it's that bad. Right. So if you don't want to wait, then you can go 6700, of course, at the $300 price point. You can go 6700 XT. It's around $340, $350. And again, I do not recommend going Nvidia like the 3000 series here, because the 6700 XT and non-XT are just a lot better in rasterized performance. And at this price point, I think that matters more than ray tracing. For example, I do have a 7900 XT, and I could dabble into ray tracing, but it really doesn't interest me that much. But there are people that do like ray tracing, so in that case, just wait for the 4060 Ti and non-Ti, and buy then. Do not buy now. Just don't buy a 3060 or a 3060 Ti or a 3070, because they are just very expensive and they only have 8 gigabytes. And if you're gaming at 4K, it's starting to become a problem in some games, right? And they're just too expensive to justify this price point, because there are new releases coming up. Same thing for the 3070 Ti. It's just too expensive. Rather than buying a 3070 or 3070 Ti, you can just save more money, let's say, and buy a 4070, which actually comes below MSRP with 590, right? That's if you want to go the Nvidia route. And 12 gigabytes right now is enough for, let's say, for 1440p, but it might not be enough in three years, 4 years. You know, if you want longevity from your card, you should probably go with the 6800 or the 6800 XT. And looking at the prices, I would go with the XT variant. But that's if you're not interested in the ray tracing. If you are interested in ray tracing and you're willing to maybe change your GPUs or drop settings, obviously, in a few years, go with the 4070. This is one of the recommendation for Nvidia. 4070 is a decent card. It would be nice if it had 16 gigabytes, but it's okay. It's pretty powerful GPU. It performs really well in ray tracing. But if you don't really care about ray tracing, go with the 6800 XT because it's the best card in this price point. If you're gaming without ray tracing, it's really good without ray tracing. In ray tracing is not so good, right? And if you could wait for new releases from AMD, maybe a 7800 XT, but you're gonna probably wait a few more months for that. More than 2 months, I would say. There's no rumors yet that I know of. 6900 XT. Now, another advantage that I wanted to say for the Nvidia card is it consumes quite a bit less power, right? It's very efficient. 6900 XT, it's probably sold in many places, so the price is just too high to recommend. And same thing for the 6950. Actually, the 6950 looks a lot better than the 6900 XT. But again, in ray tracing, the 4070 is a lot better. In rasterized performance, the 6950 is indeed a lot better than 4070, but it consumes more power. I think the 6950 consumes something like that, something like 300 watts, and the 4070 is around 160 to 190. So with the Nvidia route, you will have a lower power bill overall. All right. So above $600, we could check the 3080, but yeah, anything above from last generation from Nvidia I cannot recommend because they are just too expensive and make no sense. So above $600, you could go with the 7900 XT, which comes at way below MSRP at $780. And this is very, very good in the rasterized performance. You have 20 gigabytes of VRAM. So AMD is really good with longevity, but in this price point, Nvidia is also really good with power efficiency and ray tracing. So depending on your preference, I would go either or. Like the 4070 Ti is a really capable GPU in ray tracing, but again, it feels really bad to pay $800 for 12 gigabytes of VRAM. Really, really bad. But if you really want ray tracing and also some of the features, productivity features that Nvidia offers, maybe go Nvidia. It's power efficient. I mean, more power efficient than the AMD card. But I personally prefer the AMD option. This is again personal preference. If you want like frame generation and productivity and power efficiency, go Nvidia. If you only care about raw gaming performance, rasterized and light ray tracing, uh, go AMD. And that's the thing. The 7900 XT is really good in low ray tracing uh, gaming. So that's what I use. If, for example, in Cyberpunk, I play with low ray tracing, and that's enough for me because in the action you don't really care. You don't really care too much how the game looks. You just want good FPS and no stuttering. That's all that matters, to be honest. Now, uh, if you add another X, you go to another price point, and Nvidia doesn't really have a card here. It has the 4080, but it's more expensive. So in this price point, I recommend the 7900 XTX. For the next price point, Nvidia takes the recommendation, and it's actually a lot better than at launch because it was $1,200 MSRP, now is $80 less than that, so it's quite a good proposition. And it has 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Now it's not 24, but it's also not 12, so 16 gigabytes will offer you some longevity. And again, this 4080 card, if you look at just the raw performance, is a really good card. It would have been a very good value proposition if the MSRP would have been like, let's say, $900 or $1,000 maximum. But the free market will bring the prices down, in my opinion. So if you have no price cap, just go with the 4090 because it's the best card right now. There's not much else to say. So, as a short summary, if you're waiting for a mid-range GPU, just don't buy anything from Nvidia right now. Don't buy the 3070, 3060, 3060 Ti. Maybe wait. Or if you really want to buy new, go with the 6700 XT or 6700 non-XT, XT, or with the 6800 XT, but it's not really that that cheap, to be honest. Yeah, if you really want to buy new 6700 XT or non-XT, I think those are the best mid-range GPUs right now. That's the summary. Wait for the releases, or if you're gonna buy new, go with the 6700 non-XT. All right, I hope this gave you some good information. If it did, consider giving a like to the video, maybe subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.